Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're here. And if you want to join us, I got calls already coming in here. You could join us at 1-800-229-3000. That is the number to join me and Marc Cameron. Marc, how you doing?
Hi, Steve. How you doing? I'm doing well.
Me too. And JJ West. JJ, how are you doing today?
Hey, Steve. I'm doing great. I'm actually celebrating my 52nd birthday today.
52nd birthday.
Happy birthday, JJ.
You don't look a year over 20. And so, yeah,
right.
My birthday is Sunday on Father's Day. Now,
oh, nice.
Either we get double helpings because it's both, or I get just one and we have to, Anyway, happy birthday to you. And you are a specialist. You have an interesting certification in restoration therapy. What is that? I've never heard of it before.
So restoration therapy is a approach to marriage and family therapy that was developed by Terry Hargrave, and essentially it borrows from attachment theory, borrows from mindfulness, and borrows from emotional regulation. Essentially what it does is it helps the client to see the way that they are experiencing some sort of dysregulation emotionally and how they react, whatever their coping mechanism is for reacting that way, what that tends to create in the other person they're relating to, the feeling it elicits in them, and then what their reaction is. And it's helpful because it identifies that this pattern of the way I cope, the way I react when I have this negative emotional dysregulation, so oftentimes is formed in my family of origin, but it's played out in my adult life, and I'm not even aware of the connection. Yeah. I just think, oh, this person is doing this to me. It's their fault that I feel the way that I feel. And so it's their fault that I'm reacting the way that I'm reacting, as opposed to being able to go back in the story and identify, oh, this is a lot of where this negative emotion and my pattern of reacting that I formed in childhood is showing up here. And now if I can learn to emotionally regulate, I can learn to be mindful, I can now recognize that God allows me to be safe, that God allows me to know truth, and that allows me then to enter into relationship to serve others and value myself in ways that I can't when I'm completely dysregulated.
Well, that sounds like a very thorough healing process. And, you mentioned fault. I think it's your fault. You think it's my fault. And there's the dilemma. People get caught up in, we got to figure out whose fault this is. Well, how about it's more important to fix it than to learn whose fault it is, because it's very complex, and the influences, you could say, there's where the real fault is. Influences of connection or not, an attachment or not, and influences of poor excuses rather than get to the source of the solution. And that's where our biblical beliefs and wisdom come in. 1-800-229-3000. We're going to talk to Tim right after this from Louisville, Kentucky. Glad you're with us here today, and I hope and pray something that we say about somebody else is going to impact you, or you call us and, well, it's direct impact right there. We'll be back after this, 1-800-229-3000.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop is being held online as a one-day event Saturday, July 8th. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with J.J. West, Marc Cameron, and on the 22nd of June, J.J., you're going to lead a free Every Man's Battle webinar, right?
Yes, sir.
And it starts at 1 o'clock Central, and it's titled A Man's Guide to Sexual Integrity. It's free. It's online. Now, then we're going to have the Every Man's Battle Intensive or Workshop. Totally different. That's where you have a counselor dealing with you and what you're dealing with. That's July the 8th. But it's online also. So if you were to go to Every Man's Battle on July the 8th, it will never be more affordable for you or convenient because it's online. All right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you want to find out about any of that. But right now we're going to go talk to Tim. Tim, Louisville, Kentucky, watches us on YouTube. And you could too. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Doing okay.
All right.
I just
Well,
have a question that I wanted to seek your advice on.
okay.
My fiance is having trouble keeping her house clean and has asked me to come over and help her clean it. We're not married yet. We both have feelings for each other, and I don't want to risk compromising our relationship.
Yeah.
What would
So-
be your advice on having a family from church help me help her clean?
Well, let me talk to you about
Getting the
something
church
else
involved.
first. So, you guys, you're just saying that you're so attracted to her, you're afraid if you go in her house, you couldn't control yourself.
Basically, that's some of it, or she couldn't control herself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you have a history of, like, just really tough staying pure, clean, all that, like so many other men?
Honestly, this is the first real serious relationship I've gotten into.
Really? How old are you?
38.
38. And any ideas why this is the first serious relationship you've ever had? Why it's taken till 38? Any ideas on why?
Mostly I was too busy, preoccupied, caring for myself, living a worldly life.
Okay. And how long have you guys dated? And then I'm going to turn this over to Marc Cameron and then JJ. How long have you dated?
Since about Father's Day of 2019.
That's a long time. That's a very long time. That'll be 4 years this weekend, right?
Yes.
All right. So, ask you a bunch of questions now. I'll turn this over to Marc Cameron, and then he can turn it over to JJ. Mark.
Hey, Tim. So, Tim, have you guys been able to stay pure up until now, or is this an ongoing struggle for you guys?
There was one time where we weren't pure.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I've been trying to maintain the purity that was left from that.
Yeah. Was that recent, Tim?
A couple of years back.
Okay. All right. So you guys have been able to stay strong for a couple of years here. And when is your wedding?
2028, because we're both poor and the families are poor.
Wow. So that's quite a ways away here, Tim. To answer your question, though, I think you're kind of on the right track here about having a third party come with you guys, whether that be another family or another mutual friend of you guys to come over. Do you have someone like that who might be able to come with you?
I was hoping to get a couple from church. She and I attend the same church.
Yeah, I would have someone come. I would have someone come with you. I'm curious as to why she wants you, though, to come and help her clean her house.
She has a lot of health issues.
Okay.
And she can't keep on top of it on her own.
Okay. Well, I think coming over and helping her clean her house, that could be a nice act of service. I think it could also help, as you guys are planning to one day live together. It can also be a preview into, what that part of married life could look like. There's a lot of times that I talk with couples about division of labor and how things get organized and sorted out. And so that could also be an insight for you as you go over there into what that might look like when you guys get married and how you might be able to divide things up. And also an insight into different habits that she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you comfortable inviting someone over to come with you guys? What do you think about that?
I'm comfortable with it. I want it.
Okay.
So,
Good deal.
Tim, can I jump in, Mark?
Sure.
Tim, so is your fiance okay with someone coming with you to help clean or to hold you accountable?
Yes.
She is.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
So that's terrific. I'm so glad that you guys are all on the same page. That's really helpful. What was your reservation?
About going solo, I'm worried we might fall again.
Okay, so your only reservation was about going by yourself. You thought going with someone else would be a good idea.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then, yeah, I'm in agreement with Mark. I think it's a terrific idea because it allows you to go and serve, and it takes a lot of the pressure away from possibly crossing boundary lines that you do not want to cross. I will agree with Mark as well. Boy, waiting 4 more years to get married. No, excuse me, 5 more years to get married. I think you said 2028. That's a lengthy engagement, which can put some pressure on the relationship. You have to do what you guys have to do, but I would at least encourage you to look at, is there a way we could maybe have, maybe not the wedding of our dreams, maybe it's a scaled down version that allows us to get married sooner so we're not prolonging the engagement and kind of putting ourselves in a place of temptation that we don't need to. But again, you have to do what works for you and your fiance.
Well, I'm so glad you called, and I'm going to send you this book by Milan K. Yurkovich, How We Love. I think that'll give you some insight into your relationship. But there probably is a way that you could get married sooner than that, even though, as you say, you're poor and families are poor. And I'm just wondering if there's a pastor, because you may not have any money to go to counseling or something, but I just wonder if there's a pastor that you could find who would help you guys. That would be in the area of premarital counseling, and pastors don't charge for that, and then help you find some way, if there is a way, to come together sooner, because you started in 2019, and if you're going to go to 2028, I think that's 9 years. Am I right on that? I think so. No? 11
no,
years?
you're right.
Yeah, 9
years.
Okay. During addition, I was out sick. So, but that'd be great if somebody said, well, why, if you look at this and this, and you get rid of that, there's a lot of different options there. But I feel for you, and I hope and pray that this is a good relationship for you, and if you do wait so long, sometimes people just move on because they can't handle it anymore. So I'd be exploring ways to pull it together if possible, because you've certainly been dating a very long time. All right, I'll send you that wonderful, wonderful book, How We Love, and I'll also send her a copy of my wife's The 1 Year Bible for Women. Really a great, great thing. All right, 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us here. Let's go to Pat from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. WFIL is the station she listens to. Hey, Pat, how are you?
Well, under the circumstances, the Lord is really helping me.
Well, what are those circumstances that the Lord is helping you with?
Okay. My granddaughter, Shayla, she's 20. She's in a behavioral health center right now. She was taken to the hospital this weekend. She said she threatened to kill herself. I don't know if it was manipulation or if she really meant to do it, because her dad said that whatever was going on, I really don't know. He said that she couldn't stay there anymore because she didn't keep the rules. So she does have ADD, and she just has been recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I want to ask you a question. I had a girlfriend I was very, very close to. We were very, very close. I love her very much, but I don't want to cry.
Well, that is absolutely okay with us.
Okay, and my girlfriend is bipolar. For many years, I had to take her to the hospital in the fetal position one time. And I'm very angry. It takes a lot for me to get angry, but I'm so angry that my granddaughter has this disorder, and I'm asking God to help me to accept it. And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, eventually, we know she is an adult, and she's going to be the one that has to make the right choices.
Yeah.
She wants help, then she doesn't want help. She wants help, then she doesn't want help. And I'm not really sure. I mean, she has making such irrational decisions and the things that she's doing. Like 5 years ago, she was so open to get help.
Okay, let's talk about today, though. Let's talk about today.
Okay.
She's been diagnosed as bipolar. Is she willing to take medication that's needed to treat bipolar?
I'm not really sure. I'm going to call her today. She called me.
Okay. Is she your granddaughter from your daughter or your son?
My daughter.
Daughter. And how's your relationship with your daughter? What's she doing to help?
Oh, wonderful. Well, my daughter has been doing everything. She can't live with my daughter now because of the choices that she was making there. But my daughter said, Shayla, we love you, but unless you go get help, you have to get help. You have to get on medication. She started the program, then she dropped out.
Oh, boy.
Then she was medicating herself. She was going to raves, if you know what that is.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she gets attached to these young men.
Uh-huh.
Now she has a boyfriend, and they were using drugs together.
Okay. All right, we get it. She is out of control and unwilling to do what people do to live a fairly normal, stable life. And so, JJ, what are you thinking that a grandmother could do?
Yeah, it starts with communicating over and over your love for her, your desire for her. I mean, you can hear the tenderness in your heart. You talked about how angry you are, but really underneath the anger, you can hear the sadness. You can hear the fear, the anxiety about what is this going to mean, this diagnosis, how is it going to impact her life. So it starts with communicating your love for her, your desire for good for her, but also being able to reinforce the rules, the boundaries that your daughter and her husband have set for Shayla, to not try to circumvent those in any way.
Oh, no,
Now, maybe
yeah,
that, go ahead.
Well, wait, we've got to go to a break.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction. He was unfaithful.
I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, June 10th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we do have this Every Man's Battle online July 8th. Intimacy in Marriage is July 28th in Washington, D.C., and that's in person, not online. And then Courageous Parents with Jim Burns and others, that's September 30th. And then our Lumina event at Museum of the Bible, it's a women's event, and you will leave there inspired to get more engaged in your Bible and the wisdom of God. And that is October 27th. And you can go to luminawomen.com, or you can just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now, we're talking to Pat, and these are one of the saddest situations that we deal with, or I deal with. Maybe it's not so sad for others, but it's having a person in the family that is bipolar, and they will not accept the treatment that has worked for so many other people. JJ, what can a grandmother do in a situation like this?
So 2 things she can do. One is to cast vision for healing. Now that may come through being able to share some of your friend's story and what's been helpful for her. Hopefully she's found some help with proper therapy and medication. I'm sorry?
She's not doing well. She's not
doing well. Okay, did she try to... Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering if she's on medication.
See, she went off medication, and she thinks that herbs are the answer, but I know they're not.
Yeah. So that's always our dilemma, is bipolar folks miss the upside, even though it levels out and prevents the downside.
Yeah. May I
So
ask
what can a grandmother do, though? Yeah, go ahead.
Could I can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, see, she's in the behavioral center now, and I did talk to her. She said she was on, I said, Shay, are you on any medication? She told me the medication she was on. She was on 3 medications. So then my daughter talked to her, and she told my daughter, she said, this medication is, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's making me feel so tired. All I want to do is sleep. I don't like this. But then again, too, I'm sure these people are professionals. They'll be able to work with this. From what I understand, she's going to be in there in 2 weeks. There's going to be a meeting with the family. I mean, I'm not going to go. I'm only grandmom. It should be the mother and father. Now, the father she's with is not the father of Shayla.
Okay, but Pat, here's the thing. We only have so much time, and she's in a treatment center, and I think you want to know how to relate to her. And relating to her, I believe, should be all encouragement, all positive. And then to her parents, it should be, please do not give her any kind of money or anything if she's not going to take the medication and accept the treatment that's being prescribed. And Mark, JJ, anything else?
Yeah, I think here's what I feel for you, Pat, because this is a really difficult situation. Those are 2 big diagnoses here, ADD and bipolar. And ADD causes a person to be quite impulsive, and when somebody has bipolar, they have these swings, between depression and mania, and then they're even more impulsive. And I think your daughter's probably your granddaughter's probably in the right place here. It's going to be an adjustment, I think, as she responds to the medication. The facility that she's in, it sounds like their job is going to really be to stabilize her and get her on a medication regimen. And then they're going to as you said, have these meetings where they're going to try and create some follow-up supports for your granddaughter. I think what's important for you guys to do as a family, JJ mentioned it, is to be on the same page. I think you guys need to be able to communicate love and support for your granddaughter. Of course, she's at that age where she can choose whether she takes medication or not. But I think you guys need to be on the same page in terms of the boundaries and when you will give certain things, privileges, and help to her, because you don't want to go and undermine each other, right? If mom and dad sets boundaries and then she comes to you and then you feel bad and then you help her out. So that's what I would say to you guys. I think you're probably on the right track. I know it's kind of scary right now because of the threats that she did make. But I would ask your daughter and your son-in-law to communicate with you what they get from that meeting and what their expectations are from you, and then just simply ask them, how can you help?
Good advice there. And JJ, you want to finish up here?
Yeah, just real quick. The only thing I would add is encourage Shayla, as well as your daughter and her husband, that it's a bit of an art rather than a true science in terms of the medication regimen. And so to encourage all 3 of them to be patient, that there's going to be adjustments in terms of dosage, how much, as well as kind. They may have to try different ones to find the right combination that's going to work for Shayla. And so don't give up because the first go around makes you feel too sleepy or doesn't quite fit with what you're wanting. Just have some patience there.
All right, let me send you this book, Understanding and Loving a Person with Bipolar Disorder. I think it's going to be a big help to you and anybody that's bipolar. It just seems the big epidemic of trouble is how medicine makes us feel. Well, it doesn't make you feel better in a sense of well-being, but it sure does even out the emotional spectrum so you can function without the extremes. That's what we encourage. We'll be back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and be sure to call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's where you call to get a resource like understanding and loving a person with bipolar disorder. You call that for our workshops. Call it for whatever you need. I think that's the number to call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And one of the people that makes sure that's the number to call is Larry Sonnenberg. He's in the studio. And Larry, what do you have for us today?
Well, Steve, you've been talking a little bit about Every Man's Battle coming up and the webinar and such, and I started to pull a testimony to share on the air here. But I started thinking, well, there are so many, and something came to my mind. I wanted to just share 2 or 3 little things. There was a gentleman who gave us time at a workshop. He flew in and worked our book table and such and did a lot of help, and I felt kind of guilty about that because it's good-hearted money, but more than the money, he spent 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's amazing.
I asked him if he would repeat, and he is going to repeat and do that for several months anyway. And the reason he said was, I owe you guys. Every Man's Battle saved my marriage. And then I called another gentleman to thank him for his donation. He had a similar response. It's the least I can do. You guys saved my marriage. And I can think of probably a dozen guys off the top of my head that have that kind of response to what Every Man's Battle meant to them. And then the capstone for this comment was a woman that you probably remember this letter, Steve. She wrote a letter after her husband attended the workshop. And she said that workshop was totally life-changing for him, me, and our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
His heart was miraculously changed. He came home a different man and husband. And I want to share this as encouragement for the guys that are hesitating to come, and for the wives that are tired of nagging your husband till you got to get to this workshop. Don't give up. Get them there however you have to do it. Romans 12:2 really happens. People change their thinking and their heart and their life change. The Holy Spirit does it. But just want to encourage that because it's a wonderful, wonderful workshop.
Yep.
1 day online.
A lot of people that say to themselves, the last thing I want to do is go to something like that. And often the ironic thing is it's the first thing that ought to be at the top of their list because it impacts every area of life. So, and JJ does that workshop.
Yes, he does.
He's the one. And we get to do them because people support us, and I hope and pray that you can support us. And our gift this month, Larry, is it the book Dave Stoop wrote? Or what is our gift?
Living Strong, Finishing Well.
Yeah, okay. Living Strong, Finishing Well by the late Dr. Dave Stoop. You'll love that book because we all want to do that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you want to come to Every Man's Battle, and then 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can support us, scholarship for somebody to go to Every Man's Battle, it's the same number. Anything else, Larry?
Well, we're still working on, or we're asking our donors to work on this matching fund, $325,000, and with this morning's mail, we're over $240,000 now.
There you go.
So we need to asking you to continue that. It'll make a big difference when you give $100 and it becomes $200, or $20 it becomes $40, whatever. So thank you.
And
go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say you get a pink Cadillac, but no, that's another ministry that does that. So thank you, Larry, for telling us this. You do get the reward. It may not be, well, it usually is not financial, but so many other ways.
And did we say the date? It's July 8th for everybody.
July 8th.
The workshop. That's right. Thank you.
Workshop.
Saturday, one day.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Give us a call. Give us a call, please. All right. Let's go to Mark in Washington, D.C. Mark, how you doing today? Listening on WAVA. How's it going? Mark.
Hello?
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and so can a bunch of other people.
Okay, very good. I just want to know if the pink Cadillac's a convertible or not. So,
I think the other ministry, it is a convertible. So,
okay,
we don't have any of those.
Okay. All right, gotcha. Well, I'll give you my question first, and then I'll kind of fill in behind it.
All right.
My question would be about the use of seeing an attorney as a precursor, possibly to a divorce, but more about making a change in the relationship. Been married 41 years. I called in on February 1st, 2018, when Dr. Stoop and Jan were on, and you were there. We were talking about borderline personality disorder.
Uh-huh.
And, basically that day you called me a hero, which really made my day for persevering and wanting to see my marriage through, because I still love her and I still want it to work. However, just dealing with the behaviors and things that have not improved, and in a way have almost gotten worse. Since that time, because of her influence and, quote, maybe codependency with my daughter, I did not see my daughter get married, and I haven't even seen a picture, let alone my granddaughter, who's going to be 2 years old.
Now, why didn't you see your daughter get married? You got to fill us in on that.
Basically because of the fact that I was told, because when we had an agreement that if that once you were out of school or college and you're going to be living at home, that you would pay rent. And then she did that for a little bit, but then she wound up, my daughter had brought in 2 huskies, and then my wife said, no, she doesn't have to pay rent, and the dogs are staying and she's staying, kind of a thing. And then when the day came that she realized that, my daughter realized that taking care of 2 of these, once she had moved out, they had gotten a house, her fiance and I had gotten a house, and she came back and said, hey, want you to take care of the dogs. And I said, no. Well, that pretty much sealed the deal. And my wife was not supportive of anything that I was saying. Keeping in mind, she stays at home, watches TV and movies, does not work. We're not prepared financially for our retirement future. I'm 66. She's going to be 62. And she just continues to stay in the house, no social life, doesn't drive anywhere, doesn't go anywhere, and refuses to seek help. When I've invited her to counseling, one to go for herself or both of it for us for our marriage, it's pretty much been no, and it just, I can't have, there's no emotional intelligence that seems to be able to relate to being able to have a conversation.
So what is the question for us?
So my question is, again, I don't want a divorce, but at the same time is that I've heard you, I know because you guys don't advocate for divorce, but that sometimes that saying just merely, hey, look, I've talked to an attorney, do you want to stay in this marriage? I mean, where are we going? We cannot continue this way. Because, again, I also still have the verbal abuse that I receive. My counselor, Christian counselor who I've been seeing for a long time, said she's checked out of the marriage years ago.
Sounds like it.
No intimacy. Yeah, no kisses, no intimacy, no hand-holding since 2009.
Mark, is your wife diagnosed with borderline personality disorder? Is that something that you just suspect here?
That was what the counselor that she was seeing had said. And then when we met, she was going by herself. And then when we met together, and this goes back to about 2009, she lasted 3 minutes and walked out. So then the counselor that I've been seeing, and again, I try to get your situation, no opinion, says this is what's happening. And the counselor that I've seen said it sounds like, she's dealing with that. Could be something else too, but again, she hasn't seen her in person. I've reached out to friends of hers to try to talk to them, and both of the friends said that they had been pushed away. Now, one recently has come back into her life, and I've thought about giving her a call, but I don't know, what to do there. And the attorney's $325 an hour, so it's kind of like, and I don't want to be that guy, just like the men in the Bible, that go ahead and do something when they should have been still waiting, even though it's been almost 15 years or 14 years.
It's a dilemma. It's a big dilemma. And we'll talk about it right after this break. You're listening to New Life Live. I hope and pray if you have a problem, you can call us. We'll be in the studio for another hour and 15 minutes. And you can call us at 1-800-229-3000. Or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE with whatever you're struggling with. Every now and then we have a show where it just seems like the problems that are called in are tougher than others. And these are tough problems. Someone that's checked out of the marriage, is that like a non-believer abandoning you? We'll talk about it after this.
We went to the Intimacy in Marriage in 2019. We were both done.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is done? New Life can help. We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life. Our Intimacy in Marriage workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy in Marriage workshop is July 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to experience a new level of intimacy and have a great marriage.
The transformation, phenomenal. It has transformed our lives so much.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I've been listening to New Life for many years, gone to a few workshops. I want to support a ministry that helps people connect with God and with others and gives them the tools to help transform their lives.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Healing, 100 Days from Freedom from Shame, and 100 Days of Freedom from Anger. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Got JJ West, Marc Cameron here, and we're talking with a very, very tough situation with Mark from D.C. And the question is divorce. Do I divorce my wife who, some say, checked out of this marriage years ago? And nothing is changing. Nothing is helping. So I'm going to just have you, Marc Cameron, and then you, JJ, just weigh in on what do you think is the best path for Mark?
Yeah, Mark, it sounds like you are in a very difficult and challenging situation here. And it sounds like there's, you had made mention to abuse or verbal abuse anyway, and some other things. You and your wife not being on the same page, and her being checked out, not willing to go to therapy. All of the things that you've tried to do. Usually before I would recommend to somebody to get a divorce. And again, divorce is a very personal decision that each person must make by themselves. I would recommend separation first. And when I recommend to somebody to get separated, it's not just without plan. I recommend them to take things in 6 months increments and to have a 6-month plan. And the plan that you would maybe even write out and lay out to your spouse and let them know what you're hoping to gain in the next 6 months, right? And so for that could be, hey, in the next 6 months, I'd like us to be able to begin counseling, to be able to begin getting on the same page, understanding where each of us come from and working toward reconciliation again, right? And then in that, you also lay down certain boundaries, what you are and you're not willing to accept. And if you, and I would just start going to therapy, going to counseling if I were you, and then just let her know. Let it be an open invite. Maybe that's every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Let her know every Tuesday at 10 a.m. this is when I'm going. It's an open invite. And then you keep on checking in with her. And then you get to decide at the end of that 6 months what kind of what kind of progress has been made. Because essentially what you're doing is it's almost like a preview of what divorce would be like for you both. And you get to see also what changes somebody is willing to make.
All right, JJ, a comment here?
Yeah, I would jump on board with Mark in that doing a therapeutic separation, one where the goal is restoration, is change, I think is the most appropriate path forward. If I heard you correctly, Mark, we were asking the question, should I go see an attorney or at least tell my wife that I'm going to go see an attorney or I have seen an attorney? I'd be careful with that, in that you don't want to use that as some sort of threat or manipulation. You better change or I'm going to get a divorce approach. I don't think that's, one, I don't think it's healthy. And two, anytime you are operating from an ultimatum perspective, the problem with ultimatums is that they don't work because either the person just simply says, well, tough, I'm not going to change, or they do change. And then you're left with, why did it take me threatening X, whatever the X was? Why did it take me threatening that to get you to change? Why wouldn't you change? Because you love me, because you want a better relationship. So I wouldn't recommend doing the ultimatum approach, but I do think using a therapeutic separation with the goal of restoration, with the goal of change, and spelling those changes out very clearly, I think can be helpful here.
And sometimes when you separate, then the person has to become aware of why you did things and what you are not doing now because you don't live there, and then they start to think, wow, this guy's not so bad after all. And if you just leave things the way they are, they never get there. So it's a tough one. And I will send you How We Love and see if there's anything there. And if she is borderline, I'll send you this book, Understanding and Loving a Person, with borderline personality disorder. Right now, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm just going to go to Jeff's call. He watches on YouTube. Jeff, you had a comment you wanted to make?
Yeah. I went to the workshop, was it like last week? And JJ encouraged us to call. So I'm just calling, and I just found out it's your birthday. So happy birthday, JJ.
Oh, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, you got it, man. I just want to say, the workshop is really, like helpful when it comes to, for men in their sexual purity. And I think the workshop touch on things where, nothing against the pastor or anything like that, but it touch on things where, I think it's the openness of the whole workshop is what gets men to kind of open up and, get on the road to recovery when it comes to that stuff. So I'm just, calling to say that I appreciate JJ, with him leading the class and all the counselor that's there. And I know they're there, like they really care about the men there. It's not just a job for them.
Do.
It's their calling.
Hey, JJ,
And,
hey, Jeff, what was the most impactful part of Every Man's Battle for you?
I don't know if I should say, but it's the Saturday night when we all went to the room, when the room was, after it was prayed for, we all went there and...
Yeah, and we don't want to tell everybody
I don't
what
know how
happens
much in
there.
details-
Well,
I don't know how
it
much
just...
in details you want me to go.
Well, I think what you're talking about
Yeah, hold
is
off on the
something-
details, but it's go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
A lot. So many people that go there, they leave their shame, and they leave the path that they were on. And what I love about it is you hear this noise of patting all the time, and it's men getting off the stage or wherever, and then all these men coming up and patting them and hugging them at the same time, and it's very, very moving. But what's moving is a person's shame and guilt and even intention. It's really fantastic to be part of it, and I appreciate you calling. I'll send you Every Man's Bible just to say thank you for telling us all about your experience, because I think hearing it from somebody, it means so much more. Now, if you want to come, you just call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and it is online July the 8th. And I don't think you'll ever regret going to Every Man's Battle. And so many times we are unaware of the impact that our behavior has on someone else. And once you realize that impact, it does make a difference. The other thing that maybe you don't realize is the impact that and it is a sin when we're lusting after other people, the impact it has on your relationship with God. And so when we have this shame, we also have the ability to let go of or not participate in whatever it was leading us down the wrong path. And we don't have the power on our own to fix it. And that's why humble surrender is always the key. Trying harder just makes trying harder. But I would just say this. If you have a loved one that needs this workshop, I would tell them, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, because they're doing one online. And it'll be the easiest that it's ever been. So I'll just say, Jeff, anything else you want to say as we close out the program? Well, maybe Jeff's not there.
Group.
What's
And,
that? What is it, Jeff?
Today I'm doing my first Sustained Victory group meeting, and I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
And and also like what I got from the whole class was a brotherhood with my herd. So like we've been texting ever since. We're helping each other out. So I just want to give a shout out to my herd and JJ. Like we all learned something that week. Like twice a week, a man needs to prevent heart attacks. So I don't know if you remember.
All right, so I'm out of time and so grateful that Jeff called. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need help. Join us on this next program, 1-800-229-3000.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.